Tabernacle Fellowship
at Sacramento, California, where we teach the Most High's covenant and we walk in his ways as best as we can.
You're watching Yahweh's Exiled Empire.
There's a whole lot of people that don't know that the law and the Torah are the teachings and the instructions of the Most High to his people, not only to his people, but all who have an ear to hear.
Shabbat Shalom. For this is the day that Yah has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. And we thank you, Most High, by saying hallelujah. And we enter into your gates with thanksgiving, into your courts with praise, Master. And we bless him by saying Baruch et Yahweh. Baruch et Yahweh hamevarak. Baruch atah Yahweh hamevarak le'alam vayet. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'alam. Asher Bikar Banu Makol Hamanyim Wenatan Lanu HaTorah. Baruch atah Yahweh Notan HaTorah. That is to say, blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One. Blessed are you, Yahweh the Blessed One, for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah, to our deliverer, our master, our king, our El, our healer, and our provider, to the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Israel, our ancestors, Master, do we come before you today with bowed head and humble hearts. And we thank you this day, O King. We thank you for all things. We ask that you would forgive us of our sins, cleanse us of unrighteousness, that our prayers be not hindered this morning, that it be not hindered this morning on your set-apart day. For you made the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day you rested, and you said that we shall also rest. Master, you say that we shall have a set-apart assembly. So we come together today, Master, as one unit, because you said, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in your law, and in your law doth he meditate day and night. So, Master, we come today on this set-apart day, and we ask that you will look upon us individually, look upon us collectively, Master. Look upon all them with favor, Master, that are delivered, that are gathered today on this day in your name only, Master. In the name of YHWH do we assemble here today because we fear thy most set apart name, Master. We also love thee and we serve thee with gladness in our hearts. So we are glad to come out today, Master. We are glad to serve you. We ask that you would continue to watch over us. We thank you for all that you have given us, all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us with life, health, and strength, food, clothing, and shelter, and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We thank you, O King, mostly that you have taken us out of idolatry and that you have shown us your truth, O King, and you have entrusted in us your word. You have entrusted in us in your truth, and by your word shall we try to live, Master. We thank you for keeping our children. We thank you for gainful employment, Master, and we thank you for the strength in our bodies. We ask that you would look upon those today that are sick and that are shut in, O King, that recognize you as being their El, and Master, that you would continue to heal them and make them stronger, and ones that are not, Master, we ask that you would keep them encouraged. Build them up, Master, where they're weak, and strengthen them where they're weak, and build them up where they're torn down, O King. And we ask that you would look upon all those that distance may be too far for them to travel, but are assembled with us online today. We thank you, this King, for the leadership of this house. We thank you for this place that you have given us to assemble. And we revel in it, Master. We thank you and we revere you, O King. We thank you that you have given us a place to assemble, that we may come and praise thy set-apart name, thy fearful and awesome name. And we ask, O King, that you would keep us until we meet here again, Master. And this is our prayer.
Shalom to everybody, and once again on this Shabbat. Glad to see everyone that's here. those of you that come out to worship as the Torah, the teachings of the Most High, require us to gather and assemble on His day. It's not our day, it's His day, the Shabbat. The Helium, Psalms 103. Let us read together. By David. Bless Yahweh, my soul. Everything in me, bless His set-apart name. Bless Yahweh, my soul, and forget none of His benefits. He forgives all our offenses. He heals all our diseases. He redeems our life from the pit. He surrounds you with grace and compassion. He contents you with good as long as you live, so that your youth is renewed like an eagle's. Yahweh brings vindication and justice to all who oppress. He made His ways known to Moshe, His mighty deeds to the people of Israel. Yahweh is merciful and compassionate, slow to anger, and rich in grace. He will not always accuse. He will not keep His anger forever. He has not treated us as our sins desire or paid us back for our offenses, because His mercy toward those who fear Him is as far above the earth as heaven. He has removed our sins from us as far as the east is from the west. Just as the Father has compassion on His children, Yahweh has compassion on those who fear Him. For He understands how we are made. He remembers that we are dust. Yes, human beings' days are like grass. He sprouts like a flower in the countryside, but when the wind sweeps over it, it's gone, and its place known is no more. But the mercy of Yahweh on those who fear Him is from eternity past to eternity future, and His righteousness extends to His children's children, provided they keep His covenant and remember to follow His precepts. Yahweh has established His throne in heaven. His kingly power rules everything. Bless Yahweh, you angels of His, you mighty warriors who obey His word, who carry out His orders. Bless Yahweh, all His troops who serve Him and do what He wants. Bless Yahweh, all His works in every place where He rules. Bless Yahweh, my soul. Amen. You may be seated. Most High is gracious, and He is good to His people and those who love Him and love His word and His teachings. And He gives us life, and He gives us strength, gives us courage, and He gives us encouragement. He allows us to feast upon the bounty that He has provided for us to enjoy in this exile. One day, it won't be like this. One day we shall arise and awake in the land of our inheritance. We shall see our opulent King David ruling in the land, and the opulent spirit, the set-apart spirit of the Most High, upon the land and His people. And we won't have to deal with idolatry anymore. We won't have to hear that crazy name anymore. For He said, in that day my name will be one, and the language will be one. And we will walk and we'll have an opportunity to go into the temple and up to Jerusalem and listen to the opulent teachers teach us things that we thought we knew, but we're going to have a better and a clearer understanding. Can't wait. Can't wait. I had an awesome week this week. Had an opportunity to share our understanding with a Christian pastor, and he was very, very intrigued. He couldn't believe the things that I was saying. And I go, well, I'm not saying them. I'm reading them here up out of Scripture. This is what the Most High has said. You mean to tell me that Jesus can't save you? I said, well, what does the text say? You mean to tell me that they set this up for us? I said, what does the text say? It speaks for itself. And I says, and the more you read and have Hebraic understanding, because you can't understand the Father's words with a Greek mind. You have to shed that Greek mind and read it. Read it, just read it as though you don't know nothing. I says, but there is a problem in your text. I says, you will never know from your text what the name of the Most High is because it's not written there. And so let's go to Joel and let's hear what the prophet Joel says. Joel says, they that call upon the name of Yahweh shall be saved. I says, your text says the Lord. And I says, and every time you hear Lord, you hear Jesus Christ. I said, but he's not written in our text. His name is not there. I said, it seems to be that if his name was so important, the prophets would have told us and the Most High would have told us. I said, but all those scriptures in Isaiah that they say speak about him are not talking about him at all. They talk about his servant. I said, how many times do I have to run through text to show you, you're my servant, Israel, my servant, Israel, my servant, Israel, my servant, Israel, my servant. I says, and then we get down to those texts where they want to write his name in and make you think it's him. It's not him at all. It's Hebrew Israel. And I said, Hebrew Israel is you. I said, wake up and understand who you are. And I said to him, I said, I know this is a whole lot. He says, you've kept me here 4 hours. I said, it went by fast, didn't it? It went by fast, didn't it? I says, well, I said, here's what you do. I said, don't do like I did. I burnt the house down. I said, because that's just what I do. I have little patience and I want to get to it. I said, I burnt the house down, and when I burnt the house down, there wasn't but 16 people left. I said, so don't burn your house down. I says, take it slow. I says, you have time. Take it slow and begin to teach the people. Slowly, slowly feed them. Slowly feed them. I says, and then they're understanding, because you're their leader, they'll understand. Talk about the Sabbath. Talk about how important the Sabbath is to the Most High. And then one day you can lead them into the Sabbath. And once you lead them into the Sabbath, I said, once you lead them into the Sabbath, you close that door on Christianity. I says, and then slowly feed them. Slowly feed them. I says, you don't give a baby steak. You choke on it. You give them milk. You give them pablum. I said, so slowly walk them into the things that are germane from the Most High's perspective and wean them off of the idolatry that they've been in. He says, well, I'm intrigued. He says, I got to go home and do some reading. I says, well, I said, reading without understanding will leave you in the same place that you are. I said, got to have a coach. Got to have a coach. I said, so when you get that hard place where you don't understand something, call me and we'll talk about it. So I had a good week. Anytime I have an opportunity to talk to a Christian pastor about the things of the Most High, I'm excited. Got one more on my list I gotta check off. But I'm coming for him. Well, listen, it's let me get up out the way, because I don't know what this Moray Appleton's got in his quiver today. I don't know what kind of arrows he's shooting, but I'm sure he either shooting an arrow or throwing a rod, one of the two. But here he comes. So get ready for Moray Sean Appleton.
No. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Oh my goodness, shalom. Sounds too much like home, home, home. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Oh, to the beneficent. Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh Sevaot. El Shaddai. The one that has created all things and in 6 days provided us with something we can enumerate on everything that he created. The one that actually told our ancestors, I delivered you out of the house of bondage and slavery in Mitzrayim. I showed you all those plagues, and I delivered you to a place where I can give you some instruction on how I want you guys to function. That one. The one that has established the Shabbat today that we are observing. So, to Eye Asher Eye, I thank him for allowing me to be here today. To the dignitaries that are here, to Morey Yeshai Beverly, Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. To Morey Gerald Beacom, Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. Put that outfit back in my closet when you get done with it, okay? Make sure you take it to the dry cleaners. Get it squared away. He coming with suited and booted, gated and tailored. That's what we call it. To the Honorable Robert B. Holman, Jr., Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. For those of you that are joining us by way of the stream, Shabbat Shalom to you. To those descendants that are here with us and those that are not, that will hear these recordings and hopefully stand on the shoulders of giants so you could see further than we could. We are using the best information that we have right now. I think the text says, when every man was doing what was right in his own eyes, we'll get to a point where it ain't going to be about what Morey Appleton says. It's not going to be a point where it's going to be what Morey Holman says. It's going to be a point where the Most High establishes this is the way it's going to be. And that's it. There won't be any discussion. There won't be any confusion. Like the Morey said, we'll have the teachers in place to be able to explain everything to us. So, to all of you, Shabbat Shalom. For the 8,000 folks that are joining me here in the studio audience, Shabbat. Stratosphere, subterranean, all that kind of stuff. We back at it one more again just to tell you like it. T.I. is Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Now, matter of fact, I only see 2 of them in here today, so y'all know what y'all need to do. We're going to go to the book of Vayikra? All right? And it says there in the book of Vayikra, what? That you are to stand in the presence of those who have gray hair. For those that show wisdom, turn to the nearest person that has that gray hair. Look them in the eye and tell them, Shabbat Shalom. We honor the mitzvot. Shabbat Shalom to all of you here. We are going to be on a little journey today. We're going to try to tackle 3 chapters here today, and it's going to be real quick and easy to read. Bring you through to where we are. I actually want to kind of piggyback on what I said last week on some things. But what we have here in Devarim is Moshe is talking to whom? The people of Israel. And he's getting them, or at least remembering everything, their journey on how they became Hebrew Israel, how the Most High delivered them. Everything that happened to them while they were in the wilderness, the major highlights of those things that happened to them in the wilderness. He's telling them, he's giving them advice. He's saying, love the Most High with all your heart. Obey the mitzvot. Because when you get ready to get into the land, they are going to be in play. I'm giving you words of wisdom. He takes 13 chapters to do this in. And we are in chapter 12, 10 through 12. I got one more to do before Moshe says, okay, these are the mitzvot that the Most High wants you to observe when you get into the land. And that picks up in chapter number 14. And I think it goes quite a few chapters until we get to the very end, and he kind of wraps up his conclusion before they go ahead and transverse into the land. Okay? That's where we kind of are in our text. So what we're going to be continuing to do is read this preamble that Moshe is giving our ancestors before they get ready to cross the Jordan. And what happens to the Jordan? The Jordan splits. This is the second time that the Most High splits a body of water for our people to transverse into the land that's promised to them, okay? I'm going to take a step back a little bit, and I'm going to go back to last week, kind of talk about what we talked about a little bit last week, about this issue of Torah. And I got to thinking about it this week. Matter of fact, I wish y'all would have stayed. I wish I would have had everybody in here and we'd have stayed afterwards to have this conversation that we actually had. It was beautiful when we talked about this particular issue on what actually Torah is. I'm going to ask y'all a question. And I'm going to try to be very, what is the word for, I don't want to use a gender. I think it's what is it? Androgynous? I think that's the word. I think that's a technical word for it. I'm not appealing to men or to women. Just imagine in your mind. Let me ask you a question. I want to go back and take you where I've been postulating this whole entire week on this issue of Torah. Now that I'm trying to define in specificity on what it is. Matter of fact, let's go back to it. What did I at least try to exhume last week on what Torah is? What is it? Somebody asked you what it was. What is it? It's what? It's this. It's the explanation of what that is. It's saying, okay, I've given you these mitzvot, I've met you, I've shaken your hand, and you said, no, Moshe, you go talk to him. You're speaking too loud. Spoke 10 things. They say, Moshe, go talk to him. The Most High, he gives him some more mitzvot. He gives him a whole bunch of mitzvot. In Shemot chapter number 21, I think, through 23. All these mitzvot that he gives him. And then he says to him, okay, now that you've got these mitzvot, go back and bring up the 70 elders, right? And bring up Aharon and his 2 sons. I believe Lahasha was with him too. And Moshe, when he comes down, he writes everything down. The text is specific. It says he writes these things down. And then he erects an altar, and he erects 12 stones for each one of the tribes. And then what does he say to them? He said, this is what the Most High told me. All that you say, we will do that. What you just wrote down. After which, he returns back up to the mountain with the 70 elders, right? And the text is specific in 24 and 12 when he says, and I'm in Shemot, he says, when he goes into the cloud, he says, come on up here because I want to give you my Torah. Those next set of chapters, 25 through 30, explain that. That is what was written on the tablets. He explains to him how to make everything. He explains the mitzvot that go along with them. Right? How to make this, what you are to adorn it with, what's inside of it, what's in the outer court, what are the articles that are actually in my tabernacle, who's going to be working here, how are they dressed. All the mitzvot that go along with that is an explanation of how this system works. I got to thinking about it this week. I said, wow, this gives me new meaning on why is Torah important. So let me ask you a question, right? Why is it so important? I want you to think of somebody. Now, I got some married folk in here, so don't mess this up. Think of the most gorgeous woman that you've ever seen. Think of the most gorgeous man you've ever seen if you're a woman, you're female. They check all your boxes. I know that there's this thing around going on, what is it, on the TikToks, y'all talking about the icks that y'all have with each other. Is that what y'all call it? Major icks, major red flags. Wait a minute, y'all ain't on social media. Don't make me seem like I'm on social media and y'all are, because I don't even have social media, right? He said, what is a TikTok? Social media, I guess it's this thing about when dating going around, about the major icks when, he showed up and his laces were not the right color. Or he showed up and he had I don't know, what are they? He had funky breath. Yeah, that'd be a major ick. I'll tell you that. He showed up and his pants was too tight. He showed up and he ordered a strawberry margarita. Major red flag. Imagine this person and they check all your boxes. There's no red flags, there's no icks. They check all your boxes and they fine. And I mean fine. Guess what the dopest part about this is? Emotional quotient. Y'all have a connection. See, it's one thing to be visually attracted to somebody, but also you have a connection and you have a vibe. When y'all are together, it just clicks, right? And here's the best part about it. They're Hebraic. You don't have to teach them anything about the Most High. They already come ready-made. Think about that person. This person ends up telling you, if you're female, they say, hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and I want to betroth you. I want to make you my wife. And what does he do? Matter of fact, if you're a Hebrew woman, bing, 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 all these mixed folks should start kicking in. What's he supposed to do? If you want my hand, you need to go talk to my father and my brother. You need to get some approval, because you know what? I'm in love. I appreciate that, why we have that mitzvah, because I'm going to tell you what, I had to go through this with my wife. And it was an evaluation period. You know, you as a female, you might be like, I'm so in love. I see him. He's so beautiful and everything. He's so gorgeous. He's so handsome. But then when you get him in front of another dude might be like, he is peace. That dude ain't no good for you. Because you don't see what I see from a man's standpoint. So I have to go and I have to what? Get the approval of your father to take you off of his hands. There's a whole bunch of mitzvahs that kick in on how that's supposed to work. I'm not going to go into them. But he goes and he tries to procure you from your father or your brother. Guys, you go over there, you talk to the father or the brother, and she said, yeah, you can go ahead and have my daughter as your wife. You do all that. And did I mention that she's fine, brothers? Ladies, did I mention that he is extremely handsome? I mean extremely handsome. You can stick your chest out and be like, you know, that's me. I know you're all looking at my man, that's me. Right? Okay. Y'all get married. Y'all live in a house, or there is a house that's procured, and you move in it. And he sleeps in the car on the street. Where should he be? In the house with you. Right? Why would my Hebraic husband and my Hebraic wife, whom I love dearly, not be in the house with me? Thought about it for a second, and I said, if I had to explain it, I would explain that's how Torah is. Why is Torah important? Because if you don't know that, that is how the Most High lives with his wife. He can't be with us unless we know what? Torah. This is my dwelling place. I can't be amongst my people. I can't be with her. So if you omit that, how in the world am I going to be with you? I can't. All roads lead to this. Torah is a relationship that says if you don't know it, I can't be with you. If I can't be with you, how can I protect you? Right? So I'm looking at it from that particular standpoint to say, if I had to say, okay, now I know what Torah is, why is it important to us Hebrews? It's important to us because it's our way the Most High has his relationship with us. It says that he's physically amongst us when we have that in place. Okay? Make sense? All right. So think about it that way. The Most High wants to be with his wife, and she cold-blooded. But I'm not sleeping in the car. I need y'all to go build me my place that I need to be in. So when I show up and I meet with you every 7 days, because what? You got mitzvos that kick in that says you have to, if we were in the land, offerings have to be made, right? And they have to be made where? Here. Okay? It's when the Most High is closest to us. Okay? On these set-apart days. I wanted to bring that up because as we get further along, we're going to see this kind of picture continuing to move forward, especially when we get into Devarim chapter number 17. There may be some things in there you might read in there and be like, But if we keep this in mind, this analogy in mind, it will make sense when we get there. Okay? I mean, we on good ground. We're good? Okay. Can't be with my wife unless my wife knows. Once a year, we're going to all stand up and we're going to read what? Torah. You know what that is. All of Hebrew Israel knows what that is and how it's supposed to function. Let's get into chapter number 10 of Devarim. Let's get moving. I'll try to be like Elizabeth Taylor when she told her 8th husband. I say this all the time. What did she tell her? You know Elizabeth Taylor told her 8th husband? You don't know? Let me tell you what she told him. I won't keep you long. Okay? I don't know that to be true, but it's a good icebreaker and a good segue into chapter number 10 that reads as follows. At that time, YHWH said to me, this is Moshe speaking, he said, cut yourself 2 stone tablets like the first ones and come up to me on the mountain and make yourself an ark of wood. I will inscribe on the tablets the words that were on the first tablet, which you broke, and you are to put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood and cut 2 stone tablets. Now, when you go through the dissertation about this in Shemot, you won't find that piece in there. We need to go back and do some, just double check me on that one. When you do and you look at that, this is the first time we're hearing that Moshe actually had made an ark to put those tablets in. It's not mentioned in Shemot. So he's adding here a little bit as he's summarizing this whole entire process, chapters 1 through 13, before we get into the land, okay? So that's where we are. So I made an ark of acacia wood and cut 2 stone tablets like the first, then climbed the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. He inscribed. Who inscribed it? Yahweh inscribed the tablets with the same inscription as before, the 10 words which Yahweh, YHWH, proclaimed to you from the fire on the mountain the day of the assembly. And YHWH gave them to me. I turned, came down the mountain, and put the tablets in the ark I had made, and there they remained, as YHWH ordered me. The people of Israel traveled from the wells of Bnei Yakan to Moserah, where my brother Aharon died and was buried. And Eleazar, his son, took his place serving in the office of Cohen or priest. From there we traveled to Gud El and from Gud El to Yodvata, a region with running streams. At that time, YHWH set apart the tribe of who? Levi, to do what? Carry the ark. Bing, 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 mitzvot. Okay? We know that this is broken up into let me finish this, and I'm going to get right to it. At that time, YHWH set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant of YHWH and to stand before YHWH to serve him and bless in his name, and they still do today. What I was getting ready to say is remember back. This is the tabernacle. We've got the tribes that are assigned to where they are supposed to be encamped around the tabernacle while they're in the wilderness. Tribe of Levi, they have three main sons in there. The tribe of Kehat, under the tribe of Levi, the tribe of Merari, under the tribe of Levi, and the tribe of Gershom, under the tribe of Levi. They all have things that they are assigned to do, and they're assigned to a specific side of the Mishkan as it's encamped. These are all mitzvot that are in there. The reason why I'm saying that is because there's a specific group. Each one of them had a specific task to do when it came to carrying or doing something that was in a part of the tabernacle. Like Kahat had the task of carrying the utensils or carrying the ark itself. And that's where we get to when someone goes out and puts their hand to catch it as it's fallen. We got that particular story. I know that they're from the tribe of Kahat because only the ones from the tribe of Kahat could be the ones to do that. Okay? So I can back it up into that. A little nerdy stuff, but I'm just bringing it up to say, just remember back to the mitzvot should bring to your mind, okay, Levi had sons, and they all had a job to do that was assigned around the Mishkan. Let's keep going. Verse number 9 says, this is why Levi has no share in the inheritance with his brothers. YHWH is his inheritance. It says, as YHWH, Yoel had said to him, I stayed on the mountain 40 days and nights. And previously, and YHWH, listen to me, that time too, YHWH would not destroy you. It says, then YHWH said to me, get up and go on your way at the head of the people so they can enter and take possession of the land I swore to the ancestors that I would give them. Is there a malak with Moshe? Yes. Moshe has an angel that's with him. We don't hear about him, but he's there. Okay? Now, 12. So now, Israel, all that YHWH Yoel asks from you is to do what? Fear YHWH Yoel, follow what? His ways, love him, and serve YHWH Yoel with all your heart and all your being, to obey for your own good. Is he giving them words of wisdom, or he's giving them a mitzvot? He's advising them on what they need to do. Just like if I was to stand here on this stage and tell you, love the Most High with all your heart. Make sure you observe his ways and his regulations. Am I saying a mitzvah? Implicitly I am. But I'm also giving you what right now? Words of wisdom and advice. Okay? That's how we're framing this. To obey for your own good the mitzvot and regulations of YHWH. What is he not saying there? He's not saying obey Torah. Torah is nested in there because Torah has mitzvot assigned to it. Okay? It's the whole umbrella. That's why I think it's elegant the way that they're doing it, saying, okay, rulings and mitzvot. Torah is a subcategory under that. So you're going to catch it when it's in there. Okay? So says, mitzvot and regulations of YHWH, which I am giving you today. We haven't got to them yet because we haven't got to chapter number 14. C, the sky, the heaven, beyond the sky, the earth, and everything on it, all belong to whom? Who? Okay, thank you. I'm glad that we're all on the same page. YHWH, Yahweh, only YHWH took enough pleasure in your ancestors to love them and choose their descendants after them, which is all of you, yourselves above all peoples, as he still does today. Therefore, had we have known that, do you see the pride in that particular statement there that we just blow over because this is not, you don't think this is talking about you. When we get introduced to this, that's not talking about you. It's talking about somebody else. But this is actually talking about you. Out of everybody in the world, your ancestors to love and to choose their descendants after them, yourselves above all peoples, as he still does today. Therefore, what does he say? Honor what? The covenant that I made with Abraham by doing what? Circumcise the foreskin of your heart and don't be stiff-necked any longer. For YHWH, your El is El of Els. Where have you heard that before? In Lord of Lords. Wait a minute. It says, for who? Yahweh is what? El of El and Lord of Lords. The great, mighty, and awesome El who has no favorites and accepts no bribes. You can find references to this to 1 Timothy, let's go there, chapter number 6, verse 15. Where they try to change it and make it about somebody else. Matter of fact, we should probably read up a little bit. Probably get some context. Little bit of context. Where were we at? Timothy, I said 1 Timothy. I said 1 Timothy, 6 and 15. I should have it here. 1 Timothy, there he is. Timothy, 6 and 15. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Should we go up and get it at what? 2, where it says teach and exhort. 2, 6 and 2. Might as well. Why don't we do it? Let's just start at the top and just get the whole entire thing. You're going to find 2 more like this, because I was going to go there too, but since we're just going to read this, I'm going to just give you the other references. You're going to find this other reference in Revelations, chapter number 17 and verse 14. You also find it in Revelations verses 19 and 16. 19 and 16 says, and on his robe and on his thigh, the name is written King of Kings and Lord of Lords. In Revelation 17, they said they will go out to war against the Lamb, and the Lamb will defeat them because he is the Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And those who are called and chosen and faithful will overcome along with him. 1 Timothy, verse 1, let's read it up at top. Those who are under the yoke of slavery should regard their masters as worthy of full respect, so the name of El and the teaching will not be brought into disrepute. And those who have believing masters are not to show them less respect on the ground that they are brothers. On the contrary, they should serve all the more diligently, since those benefiting from their service are believers whom they love. Teach and exhort people about these things. If anyone teaches differently and does not agree, the sound precepts of our Lord Yeshua the Messiah, and to the doctrine that is keeping with godliness, that's lowercase g, he is swollen with conceit and understands nothing. Instead, he has a morbid desire for controversies and world battles, out of which comes jealousy, dissension, insults, evil suspicions, and constant wrangling among the people whose minds no longer function properly and who have been deprived of the truth. So they imagine that religion is the road to riches. Now, true, religion does not bring great riches, but only those who are content with what they have. For we have brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. So, if we have food and clothing, we will be satisfied with these. Furthermore, those whose goal is to be rich fall into temptation. They get trapped in many foolish and harmful ambitions, which plunge them into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all evils. Because of this craving, some peoples have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves to the heart with many pains. 11. But you, as a man of God, flee from these things and pursue righteousness, godliness, faithfulness, love, steadfastness, gentleness. Fight the good fight of the faith and take hold of the eternal life to which you are called when you testify so well to your faith before many witnesses. I charge you before God, who gives life to all things, and before the Messiah Yeshua, who is the witness to Pontius Pilate, gave the same good testimony, to obey your commission spotlessly and irreproachably until the Lord Yeshua Messiah appears. His appearing will be brought about in its own time by the blessed and sole sovereign, who is King of kings and Lord of lords, and alone is immortal, who dwells unapproachably, light that no human being has ever seen or can see. To him be honor and eternal power. Amen. Okay, come on. Grab the microphone. Come on. Come on, fill in the gap. Turn this mic on. I set you up, sir. Come on up here.
I'm not coming up there. Until he injected the name Yeshua into the text, it was a good proverb.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. It was if you were reading the book of Proverbs, and this was written in the book of Proverbs, it would be a good proverb because it has some good ethical points within it. But when we get down to verse 15, Timothy sets apart the sovereign and disconnects from the demigod.
Yeah.
You have to understand that.
Yep.
He disconnects from. It's like a rocket that's going into space that disconnects from the booster.
Yeah, the jettisons
jettisons the booster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what he does from 15 on down.
That's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
He says, his appearing will be brought about in his own time by the blessed and sole sovereign. So now you're telling me that he is not sovereign. You just jettisoned him.
Yes.
The sovereign, who is King of Kings, goes back to the portion that you read in the Hebrews text. and the Lord of Lords. Lords just means master, master of masters, who alone is immortal. So now he's telling you that Jesus Christ is not immortal. The sovereign is immortal, who dwells in an unapproachable light that no human being has ever seen or can see. So you that I'm talking about, Yeshua, you just got jettisoned and kicked to the curb, and now I'm talking about the sovereign.
Now you're talking about the Most High. There it is. Speaks for itself. See? Better than I could have ever done it. Excellent. Let's go back to Devarim, chapter number 10, verse 18.
Well, something else just came to mind.
Okay.
What Timothy did, what he did, what he did there is called circumcision. You say, why circumcision? Because he just got rid of that which is not useful.
Yeah.
He got rid of Yeshua, who is not useful. That's circumcision.
Yeah. 18. He secures justice for the orphan and the widow. He loves the foreigner, giving him food and clothing. Therefore, you are to do what to the foreigner? You're supposed to love the foreigner. Since you were foreigners in the land of Mitzrayim, you are to fear YHWH, serve him, cling to him, and swear by his name. He is your praise. And he is your El, who has done for you these great and awesome things, which you have seen with your own eyes. Your ancestors went down into Mitzrayim with only 70 people. But now, your El has made your numbers as many as the stars in the sky. 11. Therefore, you are to what? Love your El. And do what? Always obey his commission, regulations, rulings, and mitzvot. Today, it is what? It is you I'm addressing. All of you I'm addressing. Not your children who haven't known or experienced the discipline of Yoel, his greatness, his strong hand, his outstretched arm, his signs and actions, which he did in Mitzrayim to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and to his entire country. They didn't experience what he did to Egypt's army. Have you experienced what he did to their army? Have personal experience? No. So this is talking to us. They didn't experience what he did for Egypt's army, or what he did to Egypt's army. Horses and chariots, how overwhelmed them with the water of the Sea of Suf as they were pursuing you. So they remained destroyed to this day. They didn't experience what he kept doing for you in the desert until you arrived at this place, or what he did to Datan and Aviram. Does anybody remember these two individuals? They opened up the earth, but who was their ringleader? This individual named Korach. What is the story of Korach? He said he was a hater. If you know what, if you had to sum it up, that's basically what it was. Individual with these two guys, Datan and Aviram, challenged Moshe. They said, wait a minute. Who made you? T.K. Kirkland, who raised you? Who made you ruler over us? And what does Moshe do? That's cool, we'll let the Most High decide between me and you. You show up with you and your homies tomorrow or whenever it was, and we'll see what ends up happening. And what ended up happening? Everybody did this. Watch the ground open up, and everybody was there got annihilated. What's interesting is what happened on the next day. After it happened, what happened on the next day? Or what happened directly after that? Because we have a group of individuals that got killed, but then this is what you Negroes started doing. Y'all started complaining about this group of folk got killed. So the Most High did what to them? He killed all of them. There was more people that died on the second day because of their complaining about what the Most High did. I gave an edict. I told you to follow it, and then you got something to say about what I did? Who are you that I need to answer to a group of committee of folk on whether or not, oh, I pissed y'all off. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I don't answer to y'all. I'm going to make you understand that too. When I give you something, that's it. Ain't no, Most High was too heavy-handed with them. I don't appreciate all that. They shouldn't have did that. Okay, you need to step back too because the ground getting ready to open up for you too. Okay? That's what happened to those two individuals. There's a guy in there that's not mentioned. His name is Korach. So if you got to mention the three. So it's Korach, Datan, and Aviram. Okay? Let's go back up to 6. So, or what he did to Datan and Aviram, the sons of Eliab, the descendants of Reuben, and how the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, along with their households, tents, and everything living in their company, there in front of all of Israel. 7, but you have seen with your eyes, with your own eyes, all the great deeds of YHWH. Therefore, you are to what? Keep every mitzvah I am giving you when? Today. So that it will be strong enough to go and to take possession of the land that you are crossing over to conquer, and so that you will live long in the land YHWH swore to your ancestors and to your descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. 10, for the land you are entering in order to take possession of it isn't like the land of Mizraim. There you will sow seed and had to use your feet to operate its irrigation system. I tried to find out what that was like in Mizraim. Apparently what happens is that dirt is so, people are gonna probably in the comment section come for me on this one. The dirt is dense enough to where the Nile will flood, and then when it recedes back, they have to use their feet to stomp the moisture into the ground, kind of as an irrigation system for the plants that are there. I know some historians and probably some people in antiquity are probably going to correct me on that, but that's what I was trying to attempt to figure out. How does one man an irrigation system with their feet? But this is what their ancestors were doing in Mizraim. But this is what the Most High is saying. You had to do that with your feet. Your feet to operate its irrigation system as in a vegetable garden. But the land you are crossing over to take possession of is a land with hills and valleys, which soak up water. And when the rain falls from the sky, it is a land that YHWH, your El, cares for. The eyes of YHWH, your El, are always on it from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So, if you listen carefully to the mitzvot which I'm giving you today, to love YHWH, your El, to serve him with all your heart and all your being, then, says YHWH, I will give your land its rain in its right seasons, including the early fall rains and the late spring rains, so that you can gather in your wheat, wine, and olive oil. And I will give your fields grass and your grass for your livestock. With the result, you will eat and be satisfied. But be careful not to let yourselves be seduced, so that you turn aside, serving other else. Or matter of fact, let me read that again. So that you turn aside serving Jesus Christ and worshiping him. Okay, maybe that didn't go over well. Okay, I can see that y'all didn't like that either. If you do, the anger of YHWH will blaze up against you. He will shut up the sky, so there will be no rain. The ground will not yield its produce, and you will quickly pass away from the good land YHWH is giving you. Therefore, you are, matter of fact, if you heard about this piece of real estate, it'd be pretty pricey, wouldn't it? I'm looking at my resident real estate officer in here. That sounds like land that's expensive. This reservoir of wealth. Let's see what else is in it. Where did I leave off? 22? I got excited for myself. It says, therefore, where did I leave off? 19? Excuse me, I didn't go down that far. Okay, 19. Let's go back up to 18. It says, therefore, you are to store up these words of mine in your heart and in all your being. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Now, there was a discussion. We're going to get into this in a second. And put them on the front of your headband around your forehead. Teach them carefully to your children. My question as I'm reading this is what mitzvot are you talking about? You cannot possibly write all of these mitzvot on your headband. Which ones? It says, therefore, you are to store up these words of mine in your heart and in all your being. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Put them on the front of your headband around your forehead. Teach them carefully to your children. This is the basis that or at least the case that I'm making, that this is talking about a specific set of mitzvot that I'm going to take you to. It says, talking about them when you sit at home and when you're traveling on the road, when you lie down and when you get up, and write them on the door frames of your house and on your gates, so that your children will live long in the land to your ancestors, that he would give them for as long as there is a sky above the earth. Now, I made a reference to this and said, this is me talking, okay? Chapters number 13 and Devarim of Shemot and chapter number 6 of Devarim talk about a specific festival, which is Pesach and Matzah, okay? I'm saying these signs that the Most High is telling you to bind on your hand deal with the mitzvot that go along with those particular festivals. With a strong hand, I rescued you from Mitzrayim, right? Outstretched hand. Write them as a sign on your doorpost. What did you have to write on your doorpost when you were in Mitzrayim as you were leaving for Pesach? The blood had to be over the doorpost, right? There's another one. I'm giving you a symbol to have you remember something, that I was the one that reached out. You bind it over here, or whatever arm you bind it on. And I know that I did the little thing about how the tefillin, how the Ashkenazians do it. That's their version of it, however they want to do it. But there is nothing that says in text that tells us to do it that way. That is their interpretation, okay? Bind it on your hand. Bind it around your head. Think about it. So it's showing something, right? Okay? In Shemot chapter number 13. Excuse me. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's just do my one reference I'm going to get so I can keep moving. Let's go to Devarim chapter number 6. Actually, I do not want to go there. I do apologize. I said Devarim chapter number 6. Let's do a Shemot chapter number 13. That's the better one out of the two. Let's go to verse number 10 and 13. Let's start there. Okay. It says, therefore, You are to observe this regulation at its proper time, year after year. When YHWH brings you into the land of the Canaanite, is that what Moshe is doing right now? He's preparing them to get into the land of the Canaanite, to take in the promised land. As he swore to your ancestors and to give to you, you are to set apart for YHWH everything that is first from the womb. Every firstborn male animal will belong to YHWH. Every firstborn from a donkey you are to redeem with a lamb. But if you choose not to redeem it, you must break its neck. But from the people you are to redeem every firstborn. 14. When in some future time, when your son asks you, what is this? Then say to him with a strong hand, YHWH brought us out of Mizraim, out of the abode of slavery, where Pharaoh was unwilling to let us go. YHWH killed all the firstborn males in the land of Mizraim, both the firstborn of humans and firstborn of animals. This is why I sacrifice to YHWH any animal that is first from the womb of any animal, but all the firstborn of my sons I redeem. This will serve as a sign on your hand and on the front of your headband, around your forehead, that with a strong hand, YHWH brought us out of Mitzrayim. I'm saying that right there, when it talks about binding something on your hand, and when it talks about around your forehead, it's telling you to remember Pesach and what the Most High did for our people when he brought them out. He's giving you a visual representation of what you're supposed to remember by doing that. That's why I'm making the correlation between the two. Not if to say, okay, when it says, Shema Israel Elonai Eloheinu Elonai Echad, in that particular part in Devarim chapter number 6, says, bind them around your hand. We're just not talking about any of them. We're talking about a specific set or specific mitzvot that help you remember what? Pesach and Matzah, the thing that the Most High did to deliver our people from the land of Mizraim. We're starting to get into more specifics about the Most High. Specifics about the Torah, specifics about certain mitzvot. So it's just not a generality that we're making. Okay? Make sense? Bobbleheads. Okay, good. We got bobbleheads. I want to see bobbleheads. Let's go back up to Devarim chapter number 11. Let's finish it out, and I'm going to go right through 12. Go really quick. 22. It says, for if you will take care and obey all these mitzvot that I'm giving you, to do them, to love YHWH, to follow his ways, and to cling to him, then YHWH will expel all these nations ahead of you, and you will dispose nations bigger and stronger than you. Wherever the sole of your foot steps will be yours. Your territory will extend from the desert of the Lebanon to the river, the Euphrates River, the western sea. No one will be able to withstand you. YHWH will place the fear and dread of you on all the land you step, as he told you. See, I'm setting before you today a blessing and a curse. What I'm getting ready to tell you in chapter number 14, or if you mess up, this is what's going to happen. If you do it right, things will go well with you. I'm getting ready to tell you that. So today, I'm setting up before you blessings and curses. The blessings, if you listen to the mitzvot of YHWH that I'm giving you today, and a curse if you don't listen to the mitzvot of YHWH, but turn aside from the way I am ordering you today and follow other gods on other Els that you have not known. Did anybody in this group know about Jesus Christ? So if Jesus Christ would have showed up, they'd have been like, you're an El that we do not know. Who are you? Okay? You only know me. When YHWH brings you into the land that you are entering in order to take possession of it, you are to put on the blessings on Mount where Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Both are west of the Jordan in the direction of the sunset, in the land of the Canaanite living in the Avrah, across from Gilgal, where the pistachio trees of Moreh. For you are to cross the Jordan to enter and take possession of the land YHWH, your El is giving you. You are to own it and live in it. You are to take care to follow the what? Laws, rulings I'm setting before you today. 12. Here are the laws and rulings you are to observe and obey in the land YHWH of your ancestor has given you to possess as long as you live on the earth. You must destroy all the places where the nations you are disposing serve their Els. Are we clear? Okay. Whether on high mountains, on hills, under some leafy tree, break down their altars, smash their standing stones into pieces, burn up their sacred poles, completely cut down their carven images of their Els, exterminate their name from that place. It says, but you are not to treat YHWH your El this way. Rather, you are to come to the place where YHWH your El put his name. We know where that is. It says, he will choose it from all your tribes, and you will seek out that place which is where he will live to go there. You will bring there your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tenths that you set aside for YHWH, the offerings that you give, the offerings you have vowed, your voluntary offerings, and your firstborn of your cattle and sheep. Where are you going to bring it? What is? Where Torah is. Okay? 7. There you will eat in the presence of YHWH your El, and you will rejoice. All these mitzvot should be popping out at y'all right now. When you make sacrifices, what you can and cannot eat. Right? I think we go over into the peace offerings where we're in Vayikra chapter number 6, somewhere in there, 6 or 7, somewhere in there. There you will eat in the presence of YHWH your El, and you will rejoice over everything you set out to do. You and your households in which YHWH your El has blessed you. You will not do these things in the way we do them here today, where everybody does whatever in his own opinion seems right. Is that what we're doing now? Yes. We're doing that right now. We're doing what we believe in our own eyes is correct. As much as possible, we're sticking straight to the Most High's text. But we're doing what we think is right in our own opinion. Okay? Because you haven't arrived at the rest of the inheritance which YHWH your El is giving you. 10. But when you cross the Jordan and live in the land that YHWH your El is having you to inherit and gives you the rest from all your surrounding enemies, so you are living in safety, then you will bring all that I'm ordering you to the place YHWH your El chooses to have his name live. Your burnt offerings, sacrifices, tents, and offerings from your hand, and your best possessions that you dedicate to YHWH. Again, where are you bringing it? Here. And you will rejoice in the presence of YHWH your El. You, your sons, and daughters, your male and female slaves, and the Levi staying with you, insomuch as he here has no share or inheritance with you. Be careful not to offer your burnt offerings just anywhere you see, but do it in the place where YHWH will choose in one of the tribal territories. There is where you are to offer your burnt offerings and everything I order you to do. Is that clear? Do we know where that is? Yerushalayim, and at where? At the tabernacle, right? That is where you're supposed to do it at. Why? Because we have mitzvot that back that up to tell us that. But it says, however, you may slaughter and eat meat wherever you live, wherever you want, in keeping with the degree to which YHWH your El has blessed you. Does that raise any eyebrows? Are y'all clear with that? I can eat meat anywhere I am. My sacrifices, my tents, my vows have to be brought. That has to be brought here. But I can eat meat anywhere that I am. It says, the unclean and the clean may eat it, as if it were the gazelle or deer. But don't, oh, come on. Don't be a Nosferatu. You know what a Nosferatu is? Nosferatu. I come to suck your blood. a vampire. It says, listen, he says, but don't eat the what? Blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. You are not to eat on your own property the tenth of your grain. Why? Because that is set aside for the Most High. Where are you supposed to do that at? There. Okay? It says, the new wine or olive oil that is set aside for YHWH, your firstborn of your cattle, your sheep, or any offering you have vowed, your voluntary offering, and the offerings from your hand. No, you are not to eat these you are to eat these in the presence of YHWH, your El. In the place YHWH, your El will choose your sons, you and your sons, daughters, male and female slaves, and Levi, who is the guest. You are to rejoice before YHWH, your El, in everything you undertake to do. As long as you are living on your property, take care not to abandon who? Levi. Okay? When YHWH, your El, expands your territories as he has promised you, and you say, I want to eat meat, simply because you want to eat meat, then you may eat meat as much as you want. It says, if the place which YHWH, your El, chooses to place his name is too far away from you, then you are to slaughter animals from your cattle or sheep, which YHWH has given you, and eat on your own property as much as you want. Eat it as you would the gazelle or deer, the unclean and clean alike may eat it. Just take care not to do what? Sorry. I snorted. Sorry. You said something. Just take care not to eat the blood. For the blood is what? The life. You are not to eat the life with the meat. Don't eat it, but pour it out on the ground like water. Don't eat it, so that things will go well with you and your children after you as you do what YHWH sees as right. Only the things set aside for El which you have, and the vows to make, you must take and go to the place which YHWH will choose. There you will offer burnt offerings, the meat and the blood on the altar of YHWH, your El. The blood of your sacrifices is to be poured out on the altar of YHWH, your El, and you will eat the meat. Obey and pay attention to everything that I am ordering you to do, so that things will go well with you. Listen, don't be stiff-necked and hard-headed. And with your descendants after you forever. I guess that don't apply to us. Oh, it does. Thank you. As you do what YHWH sees as good and right. Last paragraph, it says, when YHWH, your El, has cut off ahead of you the nations you are entering in order to disposes, and when you have disposed them and are living in the land, be careful after they have been destroyed ahead of you, not to be trapped into following them. So that if you inquire after their Els and ask, how did these nations serve their Els? I want to do the same. You must not do this to YHWH, your El, with an exclamation point. For they have done to their Els all the abominations that YHWH hates. Then even burn up their sons and daughters in the fire for their Els. Who is that talking about? It's talking about Molech, what they would do to the children. They would burn those children and offer the screams to Molech as a sacrifice. Don't do these things. Go on. Let's scroll down a little bit. 13. Is it in 13? Keep saying 14. Oh, here we go. This is where we start. So all the things that I'm teaching you today, when I come back in 4 weeks, we're going to start here. All the stuff that I'm teaching you today, the mitzvot that I want you to observe before you go into the land, now we're going to go over all of them. What are they? It says, everything I am commanding you, you are to take care to do. Do not add to. Do not subtract from it. If a prophet or someone gets a message while dreaming and arises among you, you are to give what? Come on. Gives you a sign or a wonder. That sign or wonder comes about as he predicted when he says, let's follow other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You are not to listen to that prophet or wait a minute. So you evangelists, you prophetess, you all those folks and y'all over there having us follow after, we are not to, For all you evangelists and prophets, I'm going to take you right here. Okay? Because that is a L that Hebrew Israel has not known. And if you take this and put this in context, this is talking to a specific group of people that the Most High has set apart. Now, if you over there, see, I'm getting into another one. I'm already starting my 13, and I'm supposed to save it for 4 weeks from now. Hopefully that was something that you got out of this today. I know it was in Espanol, it's called aburrido. Aburrido is boring. He said a burrito. Aburrido. Hopefully it wasn't too aburrido for you today. That you got something out of this. We're going to continue to keep building on what we've started here and work through all the mitzvot. What you're going to see now is Moshe is going to get into all these mitzvot and regulations. We're going to go through all of those just like we did in Vayikra. And then we're going to come out of that, and then Moshe is going to give us some words of wisdom as they get ready to leave. He's actually going to conclude it as they matriculate to go into the land. Okay? And then after that, we get done. Matter of fact, I already know where I'm getting ready to go. After we get done with Devarim, guess where we're going after that? We're going to go to the book of Shemot. And after we get done with the book of Shemot, we're going to go to the book of Bad Midbar. And after we get done with Bad Midbar, we are going to spend an excessive amount of time in Bereshit, Genesis. I'm going to probably spend maybe a couple of sessions just in chapter 1 by itself. It's so packed with information that's in there. I can't wait till we get to Bereshit. But I want to make sure we get through all of the mitzvot first and get a good foundation for where our ancestors was. Stand up, let me bless you, let me get you out of here. We all good? Okay. Good. In the Hebrew, it says this. It says, have a good day, get out of here, we'll see you, take a rest. No, I didn't say that. It says, Yivarekaka, Yahweh ve'yishmareka, Yair Yahweh panav eleka vihuneka yisa, Yahweh panav eleka v'yasam laka shalom. Which means in English, it says, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh lift up his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards all of you and give you shalom. West Coast Hebrews, until next time, shalom.
This is your man Trey, also known as Yashar.
Hi, my name is Haley Underwood. Welcome to First Tabernacle Fellowship
at Sacramento, California, where we teach the Most High's covenant and we walk in his ways as best as we can.
You're watching Yahweh's Exiled Empire.
There's a whole lot of people that don't know that the law and the Torah are the teachings and the instructions of the Most High to his people, not only to his people, but all who have an ear to hear.